Royalty reigns in this episode, all about kings as well as queens. Take the throne as a true trivia champion by challenging a friend in these 11 quick questions on monarchs and more. This is Trivia with Buds. What it be? And welcome to another episode of the Trivia with Buds podcast. Also, almost Happy New Year. That's coming up in just a couple of days. Today is Saturday, December 29th. If you're listening to this episode on the day it went out. So just 2 more days until the big New Year's Eve bash. What are you doing? You doing something fun? Maybe you're having a trivia party with your friends, your family, your colleagues, something like that. Maybe you need some questions. Go to triviawithbuds.com, hit the contact form, and let me know what you need. I'll send you a bunch of stuff this holiday season. I'm your host, Ryan Buds. I'm excited for this New Year's Eve. I'm going to be over at my grandma's house, and I'm at the age where that's the most exciting thing I could do. I'm like, yeah, we're going to go over there. We're going to bring the dogs, spend the night, have some cocktails, and watch some sort of Lady Gaga performance, I imagine, or whatever's going on New Year's Eve. I think she performed a couple years back. But I'm a family guy, and if you've listened to this show, you know that I am in Chicago this week with my family that I grew up with here in the south suburbs, having some fun, playing some games. Man, we played Trivial Pursuit 80s edition last night for about 4 hours, maybe 5 hours. And my 44-year-old brother, Tommy, just dominated. That is like his wheelhouse. And none of us could stand a chance. But it was a good time. And I'm going to go look for a new Trivial Pursuit game we could play tomorrow. We got one more day in the Windy City, and we will be hopefully playing games all day tomorrow. So I was going to go to like Walmart or Target and see if they had just regular Trivial Pursuit or a 90s or 2000s edition, and they don't. There's no like Trivial Pursuit on the shelves. You can order it on their websites, but they won't be here for like 10 days, it said. So I'm going to go to a Goodwill and see if they have any near complete, decent condition sets of any of the old games, and that's probably what we'll play. I also have one of those Jackbox Party Pack games for Nintendo Switch, which I, for some reason, have never actually played. So I've tested it out a few times, and I'm like, oh, this would be fun for family parties, and then I always forget about it. But I brought my Switch on this trip, so we'll probably set that up and try and play at least a few of those mini games later tonight or tomorrow. Today's episode is all about kings and queens. It's a round on royalty. I'll ask you a bunch of questions about famous kings and queens from pop culture and history and things like that. And you can kind of play along. You can write down your answers if you want to do like a real score sheet, like you're playing a real trivia night, or you can just yell out the answers to yourself or a friend if you're playing on a road trip or on a plane or something like that. If you're on a plane, just yell as loud as you can. Just yell the answers. Just be like, Kevin James. I'm sure he's an answer this round, right? You never know. And people will go, oh, that person really likes Mall Cop or whatever. Mall Cop? Was that his movie? I think it was. Zookeeper? Mall Cop? Is that the same movie? One's at a zoo. One's at a mall. They both star this guy, Kevin James. King of Queens is probably in this round. I'm going to ruin one question for you. But kings and queens are all over this round. We got 11 questions for you from one of my live nights back, it looks like, in June of 2018. So let's see how you do as you play along with these questions on kings and queens. Here we go. All right, Kings and Queens trivia. Question number 1. What number comes after the current Queen Elizabeth's name? Question number 1. What number comes after the current Queen Elizabeth's name? Question number 2. Who starred on a sitcom called The King of Queens? Number 2. Who starred on a sitcom called The King of Queens? If you listen to the intro, there's your freebie. Number 2. Who starred on a sitcom called The King of Queens? Number 3, what king is known by the rhyme, divorced, beheaded, died, divorced, beheaded, survived? Number 3, what king is known by the rhyme, divorced, beheaded, died, divorced, beheaded, survived? Question number 4, what movie came out in 1933 and was remade in 2008 by Peter Jackson? Number 4, what movie came out back in 1933 and was remade currently in this millennium in 2008 by Peter Jackson? That's number 4. Question number 5, King Me is a phrase uttered in what common board game? Number 5, King Me is a phrase uttered in what common board game? Question number 6, No One Knows and Go With The Flow are songs by what rock band? Number 6, No One Knows and Go With The Flow are songs by what rock band? Kings and Queens, number 7, coming at you. Mary, Queen of Blank, lived 1542 to 1587. Number 7, Mary, Queen of Blank, lived 1542 to 1587. Number 8, what network did King of the Hill originally air on? Question number 8, what network did King of the Hill originally air on? Question number 9, Queenie Goldstein is a character in what fantasy book/movie series? Number 9, Queenie Goldstein is a character in what fantasy book/movie series? Number 10, Sun King was a song by what band in 1969? Number 10, Sun King was a song by what band in 1969? And your bonus question for 2 points. If you are playing along live or you're keeping score at home, for 2 points, name King Robert Baratheon's 2 younger brothers' names on Game of Thrones. There's your nerdy question for this round. For 2 points, name King Robert Baratheon's 2 younger brothers' names on Game of Thrones. All right, everybody, those are your questions on royalty, your kings and queens trivia round for today's episode. We'll be back after this sound effect with the answers to this round. Here we go, everybody, with the answers to the Kings and Queens episode. Here's number 1. What number comes after the current Queen Elizabeth's name? That is 2, or 2 eyes, to signify 2, like in a Super Bowl. What number comes after the current Queen Elizabeth's name? It is 2. Queen Elizabeth II. Number 2, who starred in a sitcom called The King of Queens? That is Kevin James. We talked about him in Mall Cop and Zookeeper, and he was the King of Queens on CBS. And I think he was on another show with Leah Remini where they killed off his wife and they just brought her in as like a new character or something weird. Kevin About the House, Kevin of the House, Kevin in the House, something like that. Number 2, Kevin James. Number 3, what king is known by the rhyme divorced, beheaded, died, divorced, beheaded, survived? That was King Henry VIII. King Henry VIII. Number 4, what movie came out in 1933 and was remade in 2008 by Peter Jackson? That, of course, was King Kong. You can go on the ride at Universal Studios. It's a ton of fun. King Kong. Number 5, King Me is a phrase uttered in what common board game? I yell that to throw off my opponents in all board games. So in the game of life, I'll just yell, King Me, and steal money from people when they get alarmed. But we're looking for checkers. Checkers is the game where you'd say King Me the most. Number 6, No One Knows and Go With The Flow are songs by what rock band? Queens of the Stone Age. They're pretty good. They have a newer album that's really good on Spotify or Amazon Music. Every time I say Amazon Music, people get confused because they go, do you mean Spotify? And I'm like, yeah, but I don't have Spotify. Number 6, No One Knows, Queens of the Stone Age. Number 7, Mary Queen of Scots lived 1542 to 1587. There's a new movie with Margot Robbie that I just saw a trailer for. Number 7, Margot Robbie and Queen of Scots was the answer there. Number 8, what network did King of the Hill originally air on? Fox. That was a Fox show, sort of a pseudo spin-off of Beavis and Butthead from Mike Judge. Number 9, Queenie Goldstein is a character from what fantasy book movie series? I don't know how much of the book stuff is accurate there, but Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Is that a book? It's kind of like a textbook that they read or something, right? In the world of it. So if you just said Harry Potter, I guess that's half right. But if you said Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, that was more accurate. And number 10, Sun King was a song by what band in 1969? That was the Beatles. When in doubt, if a 60s band comes up, just guess the Beatles. Maybe you'll be right. Your bonus question for 2 points, name King Robert Baratheon's 2 younger brothers' names on Game of Thrones. If you like this show even a bit, you probably know this one, Stannis and Renly. Stannis and Renly. Those are your 11 questions for Kings and Queens. I hope you had a good time answering those. If you want to send me your scorecards, I always like seeing those. Those are tons of fun. You can take a picture of it. You can just write down the answers and send them to me and say, how'd I do? Or here's how I did, and that kind of thing. Whatever you want to do. RyanBuds@gmail.com or go to triviawithbuds.com and click around, hit the contact form, send me any kind of info you'd like. If you have a party coming up, maybe you need some questions. Like I said, for New Year's Eve, happy to supply you with over 1,000 different rounds that I have just sitting on my MacBook. Or if you want me to write some rounds for you, I could do that for a very low cost. So just hit me up again, RyanBuds@gmail.com or the contact form on my website. If you played trivia with me live or you want to leave a review for this show on iTunes, that would be super helpful. Just go to iTunes, find the show, click review, and let me know what you like about it. If you play live, go to Yelp and do the same thing. Easiest way to find me on Yelp is if you just search Trivia with Buds Yelp, YELP, on Google. It'll come up right away. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thanks for telling a friend about this show, and we'll see you tomorrow for more trivia fun on the podcast. Cheers.